This is Rise. Let's lock in with the goal of changing one life at a time. Yours. Together, let us rise up, inspire, strengthen, and elevate our minds. It's time to rise on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, my name is Dr. Saran Heron, and welcome to Rise. Today we are going to talk about artificial intelligence, AI, and how to prepare. My guest today is Mustafa Ammar, who's the founder and the CEO of the Passion MBA, a global coaching company, life coach who coaches hundreds of professionals around the world to find their dream careers and build their dream businesses by applying his coaching methodology, the Passion Blueprint. Mustafa is the author of Time to Move On, Foreword by New York Times Bestselling author Jack Canfield, where he helps to readers to boost the 7 most common yet hidden career myths. He is currently building a nonprofit tech platform that envisions leveraging to empower 1 million orphan kids between the age of 12 to 18 to dream big about their lives and careers. Mustafa then worked as an investment specialist at the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, where he oversees business developments and bringing investments to various regions, including Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. He has successfully brought more than $1.1 billion worth of finances in infrastructure projects in the Middle East, along with during his tenure. And he also holds a Master's of Business Administration with a distinction from Alliance Manchester Business School in the UK. He also holds a Master's degree in Diplomatic Studies and Negotiation and a BA in Pharmaceutical Science. Mustafa, welcome to Rise here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello, Dr. Saran. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much for the introduction.
Thank you for taking the time out. You had so many accomplishments. You've worked in various fields: finance, pharmacy, business. Talk to us a little bit about the different degrees.
It's, we are all in that quest of trying to find a fulfilling career, and that was what in my mind when I started. Right. It was very hard to decide. When I was 16, I had to find a specialization, and I think I would stick all my life to, and it wasn't easy. And I chose pharmacy because I liked chemistry at that time. Right. Somehow, when I graduated from pharmacy, I thought, oh no, I don't want to stay there.
Change your mind.
Get stuck for all my life. I like pharmacy. I like the fact that you are also helping people. But at the same time, I wanted to find another dream. While I was working as a pharmacist, I found diplomacy. And had to find a way to be a diplomat, which wasn't easy. At the end of the day, it's a national competition, and you are competing with a couple of thousands of other contestants as well.
Right.
And it went on and on because it was a quest for finding a fulfilling career that also have an impact. Diplomacy was interesting, but it went on and on for in banking and also after that as a coach.
Wow. A lot of accomplishments, so congratulations. Now you're the founder of the Passion MBA. Talk to us a little bit about that.
It was a realization I had when I was in banking. I was doing my MBA at that time, and I thought at this stage in my life, there are a lot of values that I live my life for and with, and actually they transform my life. And I felt I would be so selfish if I keep all that knowledge and all those values to myself and not able to, start actually speaking about those. And this is how I felt I'm compelled to leave my corporate job and start my own coaching business, have my own coaching methodology, and start helping other people. It wasn't an easy decision, but at the end of the day, I think with every new trainee or mentee that you are helping to reinvent herself or himself in their
Absolutely.
career, I feel so good about that.
Nice, wonderful. And you've had this business now for 4 years, right? Your own
Yes,
business.
exactly, since 2020.
Wow. And what is your mission for yourself? If you had a mission for yourself, because our listeners are going to be like, oh my God, pharmacy, masters, coach, CEO, what is your passion behind all of this?
Well, it's again also it's a realization, because when I was transitioning in my career, I was trying to pursue a passion and find a purpose in what I'm doing. But if you ask me right now, seeing the past few lives I
Right,
had,
right.
I see life is much more interesting being what I could call a career shapeshifter.
Okay.
But by saying a career shapeshifter, somebody is able to shapeshift and reincarnate their career all the time. Somebody is in control over and of their career
And that would be
decisions and
you.
choices. Exactly. And I saw that power, and I never realized that until I think starting the fourth life. And I thought that's very powerful, because it really empowered you to decide your destiny and be always in control. And whatever you think that there is a need to learn a new skill or reinvent yourself or tweak a bit your career path, it's becoming easier.
Yeah,
And I
it's
weighted
possible.
that compared exactly to an expert in one tiny specialization. And I found actually the agility that I was able to build was so useful to me.
Nice, nice. Now we're going to get into AI and the job market and why working class people should be concerned. I think it's the hot topic now in every country, right? AI, even though it's been around for some time, but I think it's about to impact our generation. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Sure. I mean, right before AI becomes a trend, we started hearing a few years ago about an economic trend called the Great Resignation,
Right.
where millions of people around the world and in the US are leaving their jobs. They're quitting without alternatives. People are staying at home, reconsidering their careers. And I've been spending years on studying all those trends,
Right.
the Great Resignation, quiet quitting, and many others. And actually all of that translate into the lack of passion. In 2019, there was a massive study was done by Gallup. It showed that 85% of full-time employees around the world, they hate their jobs.
Wow.
They're not happy about what they're doing.
Wow.
And that was interesting to me at that time.
Absolutely.
And it's massive. Imagine 2.7 or 8 billion employees, 85% of them they hate their jobs. So somebody has to do something about it. While it's not easy, in my hundreds of conversations with people who are really stuck in their careers and don't like what they're doing, but then they always ask the question, how about my responsibility? How about my family? How about paying my bills?
Mm-hmm.
The challenge here is that AI is coming at a massive scale and speed, where it's changing the way we work, changing the way we live, and irreversibly that change will stay there, and it will never come back to normal. Through my conversation with hundreds of people, I see that people are not prepared for that.
Right.
Because AI is coming to steal most of the specialized jobs.
Right? Yes,
And I would say, right, robotics, robots are stealing workers' work. Robots are introduced to many industries on a massive scale. AI now can do a lot of jobs. I used to have a content writer all the time. Now I use, several softwares to do that very easily. we would expect AI to come and take jobs from lawyers, from content writers, from even engineers in different subsectors, and it's here to stay. So my question to a lot of people who might be in danger: what would you do if AI comes and steal your job a couple of years from now?
I think that's a very critical and important question that one will need to ask themselves, because that, a lot of times people think about AI, and I think to the extent that you just clearly explained, many people are not looking at it on the bigger scale of things. Now, it's predicted millions worldwide will lose their jobs in the next 5 to 6 years. How valid do you think that claim is?
Well, I'm also very interested in investing. So I'm also building a venture capital fund that focus on investing in reskilling platforms that support, the startups that support actually upskilling and reskilling of workers and employees. But then, as somebody who is in this business for a while, I see what I can call an AI gold rush, where almost everybody and a lot of money that is poured into AI, and sometimes for no reason. Generative AI is a thing. I was in a startup incubator program a couple of years ago where almost every investor want to just invest in a generative AI software or tool that would do something. What I feel is like everybody want to invest in AI without thinking of rationalizing AI.
Right.
Like, unless that lead to a value for employees or workers or supporting them, I see actually it's endangering, especially that it's at a full speed and scale. And this is somehow it's scared me as somebody in that industry and see a lot as an insider.
You are listening to Rise on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Saran Heron, and today we're talking with Mustafa Ammar, who is the founder and CEO of the Passion MBA Global Coaching Company, life coach who coaches hundreds of professionals around the world to find their dream careers and build their dream businesses by applying his coaching methodology, the Passion Blueprint. Mustafa is the author of Time to Move Forward. He also helps with readers to help boost the most common, myths and find your passion. He currently is building a non-profit tech platform that envisions leveraging to empower 1 million orphan kids between the age of 12 to 18 to dream big about their lives and careers. He has worked with investment companies such as Infrastructure Investment Bank. He has also successfully brought more than 1.1 billion worth of finances in infrastructure projects in the Middle East alone with his tenure. Mustafa also holds a Master's of Business Administration with distinction from Alliance Manchester Business School in the UK. He also holds a Master's in Diplomatic Studies and Negotiations and a BA in pharmaceutical sciences. Now, Mustafa, as we're talking and our college students are listening who are maybe thinking, oh my God, should I change my career? What do you want to say to them?
I would humbly advise them, you don't need to rush to a specialization or expect or let people expect from you that you stick to one career all your life. And what I mean by this is give yourself some time to go for unspecialized or generalized education. Get yourself educated across different disciplines, different specializations. And even if you have to specialize now for something, don't expect that you'll stay there all your life. But that generalized education that allow you to knock on different doors and explore different possibilities of yourself will open all the time new horizons for you.
I agree with you. Now, why do you feel it's important to challenge oneself? I know you've challenged your own self, and you just mentioned about, being able to generalize. But why do you feel it's important as an individual to challenge oneself?
I saw myself in my different careers coming always to a plateau in my career, where I'm not progressing every single day. I'm not learning something new, and I felt the danger of being in my comfort zone and not able to leave it. I had that in pharmacy, I had that in diplomacy, in banking at the end of my career in banking. And for me was very interesting to that. I want to challenge myself. I want to go out of that comfort zone and start learning again. And the moment I decide that I'm planning to go out of that comfort zone, whether by transitioning in my career or even focusing on a new project, I start getting that learning curve steep again and enjoying more in life. So it's a bit dangerous to be in a comfort zone more than 6 months. And I humbly advise everybody who is in that mode for 6 months or longer, you should find a new challenge right away, because that what will let you know more about yourself. You will be surprised by knowing more about yourself. Many things I just discovered by challenging myself. I thought I would never have those traits or skills.
Wow, that's an interesting concept, because like you said, once we've done one career, that is our comfort zone, and we don't venture into anything else. We don't even think about it. It's not even a thought. So I think that's very interesting. Now, what industries would you say will, in the future, not that we can predict the future, but we're talking about AI, which is a part of our today, right? So what industries do you think will be most impacted by AI?
I think most of the specialized educations, and I would mention engineering is one of them. Lawyers, they will be affected. Even doctors, even in running operations and surgeries, that somehow is in danger, because robots can perform that in the near future. While it's very important that you have your expertise as a specialist in one tiny specialization, it's also important for you to give yourself a bit of time. And I would always advise 30%, 40% of your time focus on new readings that maybe would entail a new passion, because that would be your maybe your exit if you have to exit that career for whatever reason. It also helps you to connect things together, because all the knowledge are connected. And to my surprise, I got to see that a lot. Right. And I was able to use some skills in the past to learn new skills very easily, and things are incredibly connected. And this is what I advise people to do as well.
So just like anything else, right? There's positives and, of course, there's negatives. So let's talk about some of the positive things that you could share, which are give some examples. What are some positive things about AI? And then maybe share some negative things, general things that you would think, other than we know that it will, replace different various specialties and jobs and so forth. But what would you say are some positive versus negatives associated with AI? Do you think we have enough information to rely on AI?
Well, AI is here to stay, and it's a fact. So I would argue that we shouldn't compete with AI. If I can learn to dance with AI and be in love with AI, I think that's more beneficial to me. So AI can be always very good way to make my work more efficient and more effective, if I am able always to get in touch and get myself updated with the new technology, the new tools that can make my work more streamlined. And there are hundreds and thousands of apps and tools online that people can use to make their work easier. I would argue that I think that's the first step toward managing AI. You need to understand AI and be as smart as AI by using AI. And I think just ignoring the whole fact that AI is here to stay and not updating yourself with AI, that's a big mistake. On the other side, I think whatever you're doing, there is an AI tool that could help you in having a better way to work or an easier way to work. And that's a very important step to start with.
Now, do you think the older generation, like you said, AI is here, but do you think the older generation is prepared? And what advice would you give them? Like, they may be, just like anything else, they may be a little bit resistant to change. And what you've said earlier is that it's kind of important to embrace it. But what would you like to give the older generation? Those who are not even, using a computer daily. They just use it if they have to do it. And it could be, I'm assuming, a little bit frustrating for those who are not taking the time out to even play around with a computer. And now here we have AI.
That's the challenge, because if they are out of all of this, they will be left out, and robots, AI will lead. If I speak about a worker who's doing manual work, for example, and he doesn't learn a bit about how to manage AI tool or a robot, or learn a bit more about that, it could be left out. And just 15 to 30 minutes a day learning about any AI tool, I think, is very, very helpful. Myself, 5 years ago, I thought that I would never use AI in my work, but
right.
and I can call myself ignorant of
Right.
anything related to AI. But then you realize the fact that if you don't use it, if you don't leverage it in what you're doing, I think you'll be left out. So slowly investing time and effort and focus on one AI tool, I think that can get you closer to where you want to be.
You are listening to Rise on the Voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Saran Heron, and today we're talking with Mustafa Ammar, who is the founder and CEO of the Passion MBA, a global coaching company. He's a life coach who helps hundreds of professionals around the world with their dream careers and build their dream businesses by applying his coaching methodology. His whole envision plan is to empower 1 million orphan kids between the ages of 12 to 18 to dream big about their lives and careers. He holds the MBA. He also holds diplomatic studies and negotiation, and also has a BA in pharmaceutical sciences. Now, we've been talking to you, Mustafa, and I'm just wondering, what is your take on cybersecurity as it relates to how safe is AI?
Well, I mean, as a former diplomat, that was also part of my expertise, or at least my concerns. Everything you do, you need to understand about cybersecurity and how that's affecting your career and work. And it's a never-ending process or space that is always progressing, and AI is coming to advance it for sure. Definitely, that area need more specialization, because combining both cybersecurity and AI will make it as supersonic speed. But it's definitely a specialization, and in my diplomacy career, I really had to be aware of it, because you work within systems, and you need to understand how you can defend those systems as well.
I absolutely agree with you, which is very critical. I think a lot of people think about that when they think of AI. Now, do you think, especially for college students or just our learners who are picking up whatever degree in school, do you think our society will become more dependent versus independent learners as because that you and I know, if you go on different apps, right, you could literally tell it to do so many different things. Like you said, it could be a good thing. But what do you feel about our future learners? Are they going to be dependent on AI versus independent? I don't know. That's something that I wanted to bring up to talk to you about.
Well, that's somehow a challenge, because learning to use AI and leverage it in what you're doing is very useful. But at the same time, let's give an example. If you use ChatGPT every day to write something, myself, sometimes I feel like, oh no, first of all, it doesn't give you the personalized story that you want to do. You really need to do a lot of work on it. And secondly, is very general. Still needs some time to develop. So it's still there's two edges.
So it has some limitations that you would agree.
Exactly, still have some limitation. Yes. So you still need you are ahead of the game. You have your expertise. But how you can streamline the process by using a tool, and then you can develop that. You can work on it further, and
more
and
like
make
a
it better. Having said
baseline. More like using it as a baseline. Now, I know we're not going to get time to get into it, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit about you. You have a book that's called Time to Move On. Tell us a little bit about your book, and how did you come up with the title, and how can our listeners get the copy of your book and also get in touch with you?
Sure, thank you. So, Time to Move On was the result of suffering, trying to find my way from one career to the other, and learning the hard way how to debunk each of those myths in my career. I grew up believing in many concepts, including specialization is very important for your career. If you leave your career, it's a sunk cost. Maybe it's too late to change your career. That's another myth. I heard it a lot from people.
Okay. And how can our listeners get in touch with you? Do you have a website where they could get your book, or get in touch with you?
MustafaAmmar.com, as it sounds, and also thepassionmba.com. And Time to Move On is available on Amazon, and also it's indie bookstores across New York and beyond.
Thank you for being here, Mustafa. I mean, we covered so much important ground that I think is very relevant to today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saran, for having me. Appreciate it.
I'm Dr. Saran. Such an interesting topic. AI is becoming more of a common topic today. You heard from the expert who has ensured that he has generalized in his career. It's important to spend time doing research to see how AI will impact our work industry and prepare yourself for the future. Thank you for listening to this week's edition of Rise, available wherever you listen to podcasts and always right here on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.